Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. It's Sunday night. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live. Love for you to join us in the chat room. We've got some folks in there now. You can be part of that. I want to talk to you a little bit about the changes occurring in Washington. This was news and information that I should have shared with you last week, but there just was no time. It's stimulated from an article that comes from Axios.com. Vice President Mike Pence, often characterized as the White House's yes man, is doing many of the things critics wish President Trump would do. He is a daily, consistent presence on the airwaves. He provides useful information rather than random digressions. He leans on health and medical experts, both at public events and behind the scenes when he's chairing the White House Coronavirus Task Force. Pence is 60 years of age, a likely contender for the Republican nomination in 2024. He has also become one of the most praised administration officials during this virus crisis. Popular tech author Scott Galloway, no fan of Trump, said on his Pivot podcast with Kara Swisher, quote, "I actually think he's done a reasonably good job," end of quote. Political media columnist Jack Schaefer wrote about Pence's first virus press conferences. He said, quote, "He acted less like the coronavirus czar and more like a good old-fashioned White House press secretary. He was calm, he was direct, he was polite in the face of shouted, competing questions." Why? Well, much of it is personality. However, a part of Pence's persona goes back to his days as host of a syndicated talk show in Indiana. It was on the radio there. His job before he became a congressman, a House Republican Conference chair, and the Indiana governor. Mark Short, Pence's chief of staff, said the vice president, quote, "has an understanding of what people are looking for," end of quote. Facts that are straightforward, not alarmist. He added there's a lot of misinformation and probably some hysteria in the news. And so he's very consistent in saying that all the health experts tell us of the risk of severe illness is small. As first reported by Jonathan Swan, Pence yesterday, this was last week now, sent the White House staff an email recommending, quote, social distancing and to, quote, avoid physical contact, end of quote. It was the first staff-wide email Pence had sent across the complex during his time as vice president, and the latest sign the White House is shifting its posture against the pandemic. The bottom line here is that Pence is still deferential to President Trump, but that's what he signed up for. Have you noticed the change in President Trump's demeanor? He's more measured, more calm, more deferential, more like his vice president. Not when a reporter takes the public opportunity to ask a question only to berate and seek to embarrass him. I would have told the man to sit down. When you have a question not laced with insult and opportunism, raise your hand, I'll call on you. But he likes to enter into the back and forth. The point here is the press conference was called to report how the battle is being waged and what the administration is doing. It's not called to push a political and ideological point of view or to air a personal grudge. We're starting to see another side of President Trump, the business side, the caring side, something his critics cannot tolerate. Not that they wanted to be blunt and crass, but that his decent, respectful demeanor is undermining their narrative. that this president is not fit for the office. He's not like the Washington insiders. He's not like the media. The place has a reputation. It chews people up. It spits them out. But usually only if they're not up to their job. This president has done business with organized crime around the globe. Do they really believe he's going to cower before the likes of the mainstream press? No, I think we all wish he was more, well, presidential. But this president has gotten more done in 3 years than the last 3 presidents put together. And he has made America great again, which is what he said he would do. All the while, making your life better. He did run up the national debt. And it's going to go up a lot more with this crisis. But I would encourage you not to underestimate the man. He knows business. And government is business before it's anything else. I expect him to tackle the budget in his next term, assuming there are no more natural disasters, no more global diseases, no more wars. In which case, things might change. It might be that Donald Trump would be only the second president in history to serve more than 2 terms. Never know. The next video we're going to have is entitled What God Hates. It's taken from the Bible, God's Word to Mankind. We know what men hate. How does that measure up with what God hates? Stay tuned.